The files appeared online quietly. No press conference, no warning, just hundreds of declassified pages, military footage, cockpit recordings, radar logs, released directly by the Pentagon. For decades, officials dismissed these encounters. Pilots were reassigned. Reports were buried. Witnesses were told to stay quiet. Then the same government that denied everything started publishing the evidence itself. In 2026, the Pentagon launched Pursue, a forced declassification initiative pulling decades of unexplained military encounters into public record. Not a leak, not a whistleblower, an official release authorized at the highest level. Objects with no visible propulsion, craft accelerating beyond known aerospace limits, glowing spheres tracked over restricted airspace for hours, and pilots who sounded genuinely shaken. One recording captures a fighter pilot tracking a white object above the ocean.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
No wings, no exhaust. Perfectly still against the wind. Then it shoots away so fast the targeting system loses lock. The pilot goes quiet, then says, "What the hell is that thing?" Within hours, analysts, veterans, and former intelligence officers were all stopping on the same frame. Not because it was leaked, because this time it was handed to us. The deeper people looked, the stranger the story became. Missing audio and official files, contradicting incident reports from the same base on the same night. Pilots on record saying the footage the public received isn't what they saw in debrief. The government didn't just open a door. They opened one door. Which rooms are still locked? And after 70 years of silence, why did they finally decide to let us look? This is what we found. The release began in May 2026, quietly. A new government portal called Pursue went live, containing hundreds of declassified UAP records from the Pentagon and other federal agencies. The archive included military reports, infrared footage, radar captures, pilot testimonies, and incident summaries spanning decades. According to officials, this was only the first tranche of files scheduled for public release. For years, the subject had been treated carefully inside government, but now agencies were openly publishing material they once refused to discuss. The timing was not random. Pressure had been building for nearly a decade. In 2017, the New York Times revealed AATIP, a secret Pentagon program that investigated unidentified aerial encounters between 2007 and 2012. That same investigation exposed 3 military videos that would become some of the most analyzed footage on the internet. FLIR 1, Gimbal and GoFast. The Pentagon did not deny the videos were real, but officials avoided giving direct explanations. Then in April 2020, the Department of Defense officially released all 3 recordings. The statement was brief. The footage was authentic. The objects remained unidentified. That single confirmation changed everything. The conversation was no longer about anonymous leaks or conspiracy websites. The U.S. military itself had acknowledged encounters it could not explain. In June 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released the first unclassified UAP assessment requested by Congress. The report reviewed 144 military incidents recorded between 2004 and 2021. 143 remained unexplained. Officials admitted many objects demonstrated unusual flight characteristics, though the report stopped short of making extraordinary claims. By 2022, the Pentagon created AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Its purpose was broader than earlier programs. Not just airborne objects, but anomalous activity in air, sea space, and transmedium environments. That wording formally acknowledged reports of objects moving between different environments in ways military personnel considered unusual. Then the hearings began. In July 2023, former Navy Commander David Fravor testified before Congress about the 2004 Tic Tac encounter. Under oath, he described a smooth white object roughly 40 feet long with no visible wings, rotors, or exhaust. The object reacted to his aircraft movements before accelerating away at extreme speed. Former pilot Ryan Graves also testified, warning that military aviators encountered unidentified objects regularly in training ranges. Then former intelligence officer David Grusch made the most controversial claims. He alleged that classified Programs existed involving recovered, non-human craft and biological material. The Pentagon later stated it found no verifiable evidence supporting those allegations. But the hearing transformed public attention overnight. These were not anonymous internet stories. These were military officers testifying under oath in Congress. In 2025, congressional pressure intensified again. Lawmakers demanded greater transparency, whistleblower protections, and access to additional classified material related to UAP investigations. Officials continued insisting there was no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial technology while also admitting many incidents remained unresolved. Then came the 2026 file release. The archive included incidents that spread rapidly across the internet. Glowing orb-like objects observed during military exercises in 2023, a strange white object recorded over Syria in 2024, unusual aerial shapes captured by military infrared systems in the Indo-Pacific region. The release also included historical material connected to Cold War, investigations and older military sightings near sensitive installations. Public reaction exploded. Reddit threads cataloged every document. YouTube channels analyzed cockpit audio line by line. TikTok creators replayed infrared clips frame by frame, searching for details missed during original broadcasts. Major media outlets that once mocked UFO discussions now covered the subject seriously. Even the terminology had changed. Not UFOs, UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Officials were no longer describing isolated sightings. They were describing recurring incidents observed across multiple military systems: radar, infrared, visual confirmation, and pilot testimony. Despite years of investigation, many cases still had no official explanation. But buried inside the releases was another detail. Some files remained partially redacted. Some referenced missing sensor data. Certain witness descriptions appeared more detailed than the public summaries attached to them, which raised a larger question. If the government is truly being transparent now, why are parts of the story still hidden? The incident that changed everything happened in November 2004. Off the coast of Southern California, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group was conducting training exercises in the Pacific. For days, radar operators aboard the USS Princeton had been tracking strange objects, targets appearing suddenly at extreme altitude, then dropping toward the ocean in seconds. Again and again, the radar team initially believed the systems were malfunctioning. Then military aircraft were sent to investigate. One of the pilots was Navy Commander David Fravor, an experienced aviator and commanding officer of the Black Aces Squadron. When Fravor arrived at the location, he saw disturbed water below him, like something large was moving beneath the surface. Then he noticed it. A white object hovering above the water, smooth, oval-shaped, roughly 40 feet long, no visible means of propulsion. Fravor later testified that the object moved unpredictably, almost reacting to his aircraft. When he attempted to descend, it accelerated instantly. Not gradually, instantly. Fravor said it disappeared so fast it seemed unreal. Moments later, radar operators reported the object had reappeared roughly 60 miles away. This became known as the Tic Tac incident. Years later, infrared footage connected to the encounter would become public through the FLIR 1 video released by the Pentagon. In the recording, pilots struggled to track the object, while voices inside the cockpit react in disbelief. One pilot says, "There's a whole fleet of them." Another responds, "My gosh." The footage spread across the world, not because it clearly showed aliens, but because the US military openly admitted the object remained unidentified. Then came Gimbal, recorded in January 2015 off the eastern coast of the United States. The footage shows a dark object rotating while moving against strong winds at high altitude. Inside the cockpit, pilots sound confused and excited. One voice says, "Look at that thing." Another responds, "It's rotating." The object appears to tilt while maintaining forward motion. Skeptics later argued the rotation could be caused by camera systems or infrared glare, but the Pentagon never issued a final explanation, only that the footage was authentic military material. Then there was GoFast, another Navy recording from 2015. This one shows a small object racing low above the ocean surface. The targeting camera struggles to maintain lock while pilots react the moment tracking stabilizes, although some analysts later argued the speed may have been exaggerated by camera angle and distance. The Pentagon still categorized the incident as unidentified. These were only the cases the public could see. Military personnel continued reporting additional encounters, especially near training ranges and restricted airspace. In later congressional testimony, pilot Ryan Graves stated that unidentified objects became so common off the East Coast that aviators discussed them routinely. Some appeared as dark cubes inside transparent spheres. Others remained stationary in strong winds for long periods. According to Graves, one near collision almost caused a serious accident during a training mission. Files released in 2026 added more incidents involving glowing spherical objects. Recorded during military exercises, some were captured by infrared systems. Others appeared simultaneously on radar. One report described luminous objects separating midair before disappearing from tracking systems entirely. Another incident over Syria in 2024 involved a white anomalous object moving through monitored airspace before vanishing. Additional footage from Indo-Pacific operations showed heat signatures military analysts could not confidently identify. Across all of these encounters, the same details kept repeating. No visible propulsion, extreme acceleration, silent movement, sudden disappearance from radar, objects reacting to military aircraft. For trained operators, that was the disturbing part. These were not random lights spotted by civilians. These were incidents tracked by advanced military systems designed specifically to identify threats: radar, infrared targeting, visual confirmation, multiple sensor platforms at once. And despite all of that, officials repeatedly used the same word: unresolved. If these objects were not extraterrestrial, then what exactly was outperforming advanced U.S. military systems inside restricted airspace? And if they were explainable, why hasn't the government explained them? As public interest exploded, pressure inside the Pentagon grew. The problem was no longer isolated sightings. It was volume. Reports kept coming in from Navy pilots, Air Force personnel, radar operators, and surveillance systems. By the early 2020s, officials could no longer treat the incidents as random anomalies. In July 2022, the Department of Defense created AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. It replaced the earlier UAP task force and expanded the mission beyond aircraft sightings alone. According to the Pentagon, AARO would investigate anomalous objects detected in air, space, underwater, and transmedium environments. That language acknowledged what military witnesses had already been describing for years. Objects moving between sky and ocean without slowing down, without impact, without visible propulsion. Officially, AARO's purpose was straightforward: collect reports, analyze sensor data, determine whether incidents involved foreign technology, airborne clutter, surveillance systems, or something else entirely. But tensions formed around the office almost immediately. Some lawmakers accused the Pentagon of withholding information from Congress. Others claimed military personnel still feared reporting encounters because of stigma or career consequences. At the same time, Pentagon officials insisted transparency was improving. Public statements repeated the same position: no verified evidence of extraterrestrial technology, no confirmed alien spacecraft, no recovered non-human vehicles officially acknowledged by the Department of Defense, and yet the unresolved cases remained. In 2023, AARO Director Sean Kirkpatrick testified before Congress. He stated that most investigated incidents eventually turned out to be balloons, drones, airborne debris, or sensor errors, but not all of them. Some remained unexplained after analysis, especially incidents involving multiple forms of detection at once: radar, infrared, visual confirmation, flight telemetry. That distinction mattered. Isolated footage could sometimes be disputed. Combined sensor tracking was harder to dismiss. Criticism toward the Pentagon intensified. Members of Congress complained about delayed access to classified material. Some investigators said they learned more from media reporting than from official briefings. Others questioned why certain videos discussed behind closed doors had never been publicly released. Then came the contradictions. In several cases, witness accounts appeared more detailed than official summaries. Pilots described structured craft maneuvering intelligently. Public statements sometimes reduced those same incidents to unresolved aerial objects. Other cases referenced additional sensor footage that remained classified. Audio segments were missing. Timelines appeared incomplete. Every missing detail fueled more suspicion online. The Pentagon maintained that classification restrictions existed to protect sensitive systems, radar capabilities, targeting technology, surveillance methods. Officials warned that releasing raw military sensor data could expose defense vulnerabilities to adversaries. That explanation satisfied some observers, but not everyone, especially when lawmakers themselves began pushing for greater disclosure. In 2025, congressional hearings focused heavily on transparency and whistleblower protection. Witnesses testified about retaliation fears and barriers, preventing personnel from sharing information openly. Some lawmakers openly questioned whether parts of the government were operating behind layers of classification that even other officials could not fully access. Defense agencies continued repeating their central position. No confirmed extraterrestrial evidence had been found. No verified alien technology had been presented to Congress. But behind those statements, another reality remained impossible to ignore. The Pentagon had now collected hundreds of UAP reports, some involving military encounters that still lacked clear explanations years later. The deeper agencies investigated, the more complicated the situation became. There wasn't a single narrative inside government. There were competing ones. One side viewed the incidents primarily as national security concerns, possible foreign surveillance technology, advanced drones, unknown intelligence threats. Another side believed the government still wasn't being fully transparent about what certain programs had discovered. Inside AARO, investigators attempted to sort through decades of military reports, classified archives, and fragmented sensor records spread across multiple agencies. Even now, officials admit many historical files remain unreleased. Some exist only on paper, others remain partially redacted. Some may still be buried inside classified systems inaccessible to the public entirely, which raises another question. If the Pentagon still cannot fully explain these encounters, after years of investigation, how much does the government actually know? For years, UFO stories came from anonymous sources, blurry leaks, late-night radio, people nobody could verify. Then military officials started speaking publicly, under oath. The biggest moment came in July 2023. Former intelligence officer David Grusch sat before a House oversight hearing on UAPs. A decorated Air Force veteran who had worked with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the UAP Task Force. His claims were explosive. The U.S. government had been involved in secret crash retrieval programs for years, he said, programs designed to recover and study non-human craft. Investigators had also been denied access to certain classified programs during official inquiries. Then came the line that changed everything. Grusch testified that information had been provided to him regarding non-human biologics connected to recovered craft. The room went silent. Within hours, clips spread everywhere. Millions watched a former intelligence official make claims once associated only with conspiracy culture. But there was a critical detail. Grusch did not publicly provide physical evidence. The Pentagon responded quickly. AARO stated they had found no verifiable evidence supporting claims of extraterrestrial technology or hidden alien recovery programs. That distinction became the center of the debate. Officially, the government denied the allegations. But the allegations were now part of congressional record, and Grusch was not alone. At the same hearing, former Navy pilot Ryan Graves warned that unidentified objects had become common off the East Coast, frequent enough to pose serious flight safety concerns. He described pilots observing dark cubes inside transparent spheres and objects remaining stationary in high winds. Then David Fravor spoke, the Navy commander from the 2004 Tic Tac incident. Fravor's testimony was less speculative and more direct. He described what he personally saw: a white object hovering over disturbed water. No visible propulsion, then instantaneous acceleration. Unlike anonymous online witnesses, these men had military records, flight experience, and security clearances. Why would they risk their careers to speak openly? Some cited frustration. Others cited concern over secrecy. Several said stigma inside the military discouraged reporting. Then came allegations of retaliation. Witnesses and lawmakers described professional pressure against those who reported sensitive UAP information. Congress responded by pushing for whistleblower protections. Skepticism remained strong. Critics argued extraordinary claims still lacked extraordinary evidence. Some believed witnesses had misinterpreted classified aerospace programs. The Pentagon maintained its position. No confirmed extraterrestrial evidence. No verified alien technology. But the whistleblower movement kept growing. Former military personnel, intelligence officials, radar operators, defense contractors, more voices stepping forward. And the deeper the story moved into Congress, the stranger the atmosphere became. Closed-door briefings, restricted testimony, lawmakers demanding access to information they claimed they still weren't receiving. If the whistleblowers were wrong, why had the issue reached the highest levels of government? And if they were right, how much of the story is still hidden? The moment the Pentagon confirmed the videos were real, the internet turned into an investigation network. Entire communities formed around analyzing military footage frame by frame. Reddit threads cataloged radar timelines. YouTube creators reconstructed flight paths. TikTok users slowed infrared clips down to fractions of a second, searching for hidden details. Every new release triggered another wave. Unlike older UFO stories, this material came with official confirmation. Real Navy footage, real pilots, real Pentagon statements. That changed everything online. The Tic Tac video became one of the most dissected military clips in internet history. Users analyzed the object's movement against wind speed. Others focused on pilot reactions. Some attempted 3D recreations using radar data and testimony from the Nimitz encounter. Then came Gimbal. People debated the rotating object endlessly. Was the rotation caused by the camera system? Or was the object itself rotating? Millions of views accumulated around slowed down analysis videos trying to answer that single question. GoFast triggered another debate. Some analysts argued the object only appeared fast because of targeting, angles, and parallax effects. Others pointed to the pilots' reactions and tracking systems as evidence something unusual was happening. That became the pattern. Every clip split the internet into two worlds, believers and skeptics. One side saw years of government secrecy finally collapsing into public view. The other saw incomplete data being exaggerated into mythology. But neither side stopped watching, because the footage kept coming, especially after the 2026 file releases. Users began scanning newly uploaded documents line by line, searching for inconsistencies, missing timestamps, redacted names, and references to classified sensor systems. One released report mentioning glowing orbs over military ranges spread across social media within hours. Another describing anomalous objects near Syria triggered massive speculation online. Then came the Apollo image. 3 unexplained bright points near the lunar surface. No official explanation attached. Within a day, the image was everywhere. Threads appeared trying to determine whether the lights were camera artifacts, reflections, or something else entirely. At the same time, misinformation exploded alongside genuine investigation. Fake leaks mixed with authentic documents. Edited videos circulated beside real military footage. AI-generated imagery began appearing across platforms pretending to show classified encounters. Separating fact from fiction became harder every month. That confusion only intensified distrust. Many people already believed the government was withholding information. So every missing detail felt intentional. Every redaction became suspicious. Every contradiction fueled another theory. Podcasts and live streams transformed the subject into mainstream entertainment. Former pilots appeared on long-form interviews discussing encounters in detail. Whistleblowers debated, skeptics live online. Military footage played on giant screens while analysts paused frames, searching for hidden movement. Even politicians and celebrities began commenting publicly. Former President Obama jokingly referencing unexplained objects during interviews only pushed the topic further into mainstream culture. Younger audiences absorbed the mystery differently than previous generations. Not as science fiction, as a real-time puzzle. A classified story unfolding online piece by piece. The internet no longer waited for official answers. It started building its own, sometimes carefully, sometimes recklessly. And somewhere inside millions of posts, clips, breakdowns, and arguments, the original question became harder to answer than ever. Was the internet uncovering the truth, or creating a myth powerful enough to replace it? As the archive expanded, investigators noticed something consistent across decades of reports. It wasn't just that objects were unidentified. It was where they appeared. Military training ranges, naval strike groups, restricted airspace, nuclear-related facilities, high-security operation zones. Again and again, the same pattern showed up in declassified logs. One set of reports referenced UAP activity near nuclear storage sites dating back to the Cold War. Military personnel described sudden radar anomalies, followed by visual sightings of unknown aerial objects hovering near restricted zones. No engagement followed. No interception success, only documentation. Then there were transmedium reports. Cases where objects were tracked moving from air into water or emerging from the ocean and transitioning into flight. Navy personnel described sonar contacts matching simultaneous aerial radar detections. In some cases, objects appeared to vanish from radar only to reappear underwater moments later. These entries stood out because they required multiple systems at once: radar tracking, visual observation, sonar detection, sometimes infrared confirmation. Another recurring category involved acceleration events, reports describing objects moving from stationary positions to extreme speeds in fractions of a second. Some logs included pilot estimates that defied known physical limits of aircraft. Performance: no sonic boom, no visible propulsion delay, just instant displacement. Military analysts often annotated these cases with a single phrase: unresolved performance characteristics. Then came radar inconsistencies, cases where multiple sensors tracked objects that did not follow expected flight paths. Objects appearing, disappearing, then reappearing miles away within seconds. In one instance involving a naval carrier group, radar operators recorded multiple simultaneous contacts converging on a single point, then vanishing without debris or impact signatures. Officials later described such events as requiring further analysis. No unified explanation was released publicly. Even more unusual were reports involving electromagnetic interference. Pilots and ground personnel occasionally noted temporary disruptions in communication systems during encounters, screens flickering, sensors losing lock, tracking systems momentarily degrading before returning to normal. The location overlaps became impossible to ignore. Encounters near sensitive infrastructure, military bases, naval fleets, nuclear-adjacent zones. While officials consistently stated no confirmed pattern had been validated, the repetition of similar locations across decades of reports became difficult to dismiss. In later congressional discussions, lawmakers pressed agencies on whether these incidents represented coordinated intelligence gathering by foreign adversaries. Officials responded that no evidence confirmed hostile intent or attribution, but they also acknowledged that some cases remained completely unexplained even after extensive review. The 2026 file release added more recent entries. Reports from Indo-Pacific operations described luminous spherical objects detected by military sensors during training exercises. Some entries included descriptions of objects splitting into multiple smaller points of light before disappearing from tracking systems. Another report from Central Command described a bright white object crossing monitored airspace in Syria before vanishing without trace. Despite modern sensor systems being more advanced than ever, investigators faced the same outcome: no definitive identification, no confirmed origin, no resolved classification. Internal statements from defense agencies remained consistent. AARO and Pentagon officials continued to emphasize that most investigated cases eventually resolve into ordinary explanations: balloon systems, drones, atmospheric effects, sensor anomalies. But they also acknowledged that not every case reached a conclusion. Those unresolved cases remained cataloged, archived, still under review. This led to a growing issue inside the investigation itself. The more data collected, the more fragmented the overall picture became. Different agencies held different pieces. Some datasets were classified, others were incomplete. Some historical records existed only in paper archives. Even after years of review, officials admitted that full consolidation of all UAP-related material across government systems had not yet been completed. The question shifted again. Not just what these objects were, but why so many encounters clustered around sensitive locations. and why so many remained unresolved even after decades of analysis. By 2025, the conversation around UAPs stopped being purely scientific or military. It became political. Disclosure had become a process, controlled, structured, gradual. The Pentagon and multiple federal agencies began releasing material in stages, rather than a single dump. Officials described it as an effort to improve transparency while maintaining national security safeguards. The 2026 Pursue Archive was framed as part of a broader interagency declassification initiative involving defense, intelligence, NASA, and other federal departments, each agency reviewing decades of stored material, each deciding what could be released and what required redaction. Congress increased pressure on defense institutions to provide full access to UAP records. Lawmakers pushed for unredacted video footage, sensor logs, and internal analysis reports. Some hearings directly addressed concerns that not all relevant material was being submitted to oversight committees. Pentagon responses consistently stated that classification rules exist to protect sensitive intelligence systems, including surveillance capabilities, radar technology, and defense detection methods. Officials warned that full public release of raw sensor data could expose how military tracking systems operate. That explanation became a key point of tension. Transparency was increasing, but so were redactions. Entire sections of documents remained blacked out. Some video files were partially cropped or accompanied by missing metadata. Certain references in reports pointed to additional classified systems not publicly described. Different branches of government presented slightly different interpretations of the same incidents. Defense officials emphasized routine explanations: balloon systems, commercial drones, atmospheric phenomena. Meanwhile, congressional investigators and whistleblowers pushed for access to full datasets to independently verify those conclusions. Outside government, another narrative developed. Some analysts suggested that increasing disclosure might be a response to growing public pressure rather than a complete release of internal findings. Others pointed to geopolitical context, rapid advances in drone technology globally, escalating military surveillance capabilities among major powers, heightened sensitivity around airspace security incidents. In that environment, unexplained objects entering restricted zones were no longer just scientific anomalies. They were potential security concerns, requiring classification until fully understood. This overlap between transparency and security created a blurred space. Information was being released, but not all at once and not in full context. Public communication from agencies remained consistent on one central point. There was no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial origin, no verified non-human technology acknowledged by the Department of Defense or intelligence agencies, and yet officials continued stating that many UAP cases remained unresolved after investigation. That duality defined the entire situation. More information was available than ever before, but certainty had not increased. It had decreased. Every release generated new questions, not just about what was being shown, but about what remained withheld. As more material entered the public domain, analysts noticed another shift. The conversation was no longer only about individual sightings. It was about patterns across decades of data, encounters appearing in clusters near military installations, reports spanning multiple sensor systems, historical cases resurfacing alongside modern footage. Despite decades of observation, no single framework had been officially confirmed to explain them, which left the central question unchanged. If disclosure is truly happening, why does so much of the picture still remain incomplete? Even after decades of reports, hearings, and declassified releases, the core question has not changed. What exactly are these objects? The 2026 file releases added more data than any previous disclosure effort. Military reports spanning multiple eras, modern infrared footage from active training zones, radar logs from naval strike groups, historical documentation dating back to early Cold War investigations. But even with this volume of material, no single explanation has been officially confirmed. Defense agencies continue to maintain the same position across all public statements. Many incidents have been resolved through investigation. Balloon systems, drones, atmospheric effects, sensor errors. But a significant number remain classified as unresolved. No definitive identification has been reached after analysis. Some of these unresolved cases involve multiple sensor confirmations at once, radar, infrared, pilot, visual accounts recorded simultaneously. Others involve sudden acceleration events recorded across tracking systems. Objects appearing briefly, then disappearing from detection entirely. In some cases, files reference missing or incomplete data sets, segments of audio not publicly released, sensor metadata withheld due to classification restrictions, entire incidents summarized without full supporting material in the public archive. Lawmakers, reviewing the material, have repeatedly requested access to complete datasets, including raw footage and unedited sensor logs. Officials have stated that some of this material remains classified to protect sensitive surveillance capabilities and defense systems. Congressional hearings have continued to emphasize the need for greater transparency. Whistleblowers have called for protections to ensure personnel can report encounters without professional risk. Agencies like AARO have continued collecting new reports as they arrive. But even in modern systems, the pattern has not fully changed. Encounters still occur, reports still accumulate, and many still end with the same classification: unresolved. Public interest has not declined. If anything, it has intensified. Each new document release generates immediate analysis across social platforms. Every redacted line becomes a point of debate. Every unexplained image becomes part of global discussion. But despite all of this attention, no official conclusion has been announced. No verified origin has been confirmed. No final explanation has been presented to the public. That leaves the situation in a state that is unusual for modern military. Documentation, highly detailed, extensively recorded, continuously investigated, yet still without resolution. What is still classified? What remains inside government archives that has not been released? And after decades of surveillance, testimony, and analysis, what do military officials know that the public still does not? For now, the files continue to exist, partially open, partially hidden, and still expanding. The answer remains exactly where it has always been: out of reach. The documents are public now. The videos are online. The testimonies sit in congressional records. And yet nothing is truly resolved. Even after decades of data, military reports, sensor logs, and classified briefings, the official conclusion stays the same: unidentified, unresolved, under review. That's where the real tension begins. Not in what has been shown, but in what has not been explained. Some files are still partially redacted. Some incidents are summarized without full sensor data. Some footage is released without full context. Some witness accounts exist in detail, while the supporting classified records remain inaccessible. Officials say this is normal procedure. Classification rules, national security protection, defense system limitations. But the result is simple: a massive archive of encounters without a complete explanation. That creates a gap now filled by analysis, debate, and speculation across the world. Every new release adds more information, but also adds more uncertainty. Different agencies describe the same events in slightly different ways. Pilot testimony doesn't always match official summaries. Investigators continue requesting access to data that remains restricted. Meanwhile, the official position has stayed consistent for years. No confirmed extraterrestrial technology. No verified recovered non-human craft released for public review. No final explanation for all recorded UAP incidents. So the situation sits in a strange place. Not hidden, not explained, not closed. And that is what keeps it alive. This is no longer just about sightings. It is a long documented record of unresolved encounters across decades, across military systems, across multiple branches of government, radar detections, infrared tracks, pilot encounters. Cases that still remain open. Even after everything released, the core questions remain unchanged. What is still classified? What has never been released? How much of the full picture is still missing? For now, the answers remain inside the system, behind classification barriers, inside incomplete archives, within files that have not yet been made public. And until that changes, the story is not finished. It is still unfolding, quietly, inside government databases, congressional investigations, future declassifications that may or may not come. If you want to explore more real mysteries like this, subscribe. Because sometimes the truth isn't hidden from us. Sometimes it's released slowly,